mean, a lot of the calls were, a lot of the call ideas still come from Pablo. They come from myself. Obviously he always has a few here and there. Where Mike is extremely good is kind of running all the different parts of the game anyway. He's really helpful with me, which I think, given the situation and the circumstances, is probably the best skill set for him to have. We're very much on the same wavelength. We share a brain, but Mike, it's not the type of brain you want to share with those people. But we are very much in sync. So,
Chris, you talked about for the last month or so the importance of starts to games.
Yeah.
You emphasize finishes.
Yes.
Of games against this opponent. You had A's in both of those. What stood out in game one of those?
What stood out in game one, game one certainly was I was a little worried about our start. I know that they're a pretty good starting team here at home, and just our focus and a lot of little game plan issues. We're on point. Offensively, and got it going early, and we just kept finding him in the right rhythm. But I thought it all came in a good flow too. So. And then being able to close out the game just with our defense and enough shot making down the stretch was huge. I mean, this team's so good at closing games, and they have the guys and the system and the experience to do it. We just know it's going to come down to that, and it's been the story of all of our games with them. Where they've gotten us has been late in games.
With Ian, they threw different looks at him at different times throughout the game. He was kind of, though, consistently delivering offensively.
Yeah.
What made that happen?
Well, listen, I think it's been an incredible growth curve for him in the last 40 games, really. I think a lot of it started when Cat went out for this last injury, and he faced triple teams, quadruple teams, complete swarms. And he realized at that point in time, I have to continue to read the floor, make the right plays, trust my teammates, which he does generally. But then he also figured out how to stay aggressive when teams were doing that. And that's oftentimes the hardest part, because making the right play is easier, but then sometimes it forces you to lose your aggression. So he's been able to do that. He's got unbelievable confidence in his game right now. He's getting to his spots. He's getting there clean and getting into his shot clean. And he's scoring from all ranges.
Chris, when you talk about closing games, 2 years ago against Memphis, you guys had a hard time closing games, but now against Phoenix, and like we saw last night, you're not only maintaining leads, you're expanding them in second half. So where do you see the biggest area of growth in terms of your team getting to that point in we're?
Well, it's certainly experience on the offensive end, execute a little bit better. A guy like Anthony learning how to close games has been huge. When I think back to that Memphis series, though, a lot of it had to do with being able to control the glass. We can rebound a lot better. If you can rebound both ends of the floor, it really helps you to close games. You shut off your opponent to one chance only. A lot of times games are won by offensive rebounds. If you're getting multiple possessions down the stretch, you really do yourself a favor.
Chris, the Carl and Naz's ability to guard Jokic, maybe not shut him down because nobody can really do that, but how do they defend him that maybe is different than maybe the way other people around the league defend Jokic?
We have 3 or 4 guys that we've put on him, including Rudy, including Kyle, and I think all of them have to play to their individual skill sets. Whether it's use their quickness, use their strength, use their length, use their IQs. It takes everything. It really does. And he's so good at kind of playing off of all the different things that you do to him. We've studied the way other teams guard him around the league and what they try to do. It comes down to, a lot of it just comes down to their individual kind of ability to match up and take the matchup and want to fight him, because you got to fight him. He's a load.
When you're playing a team, played against Phoenix, they were desperate for a win, and now I'm sure they don't want to go back 0-2 to your guys' score. So what's the key, really, in the way you guys have been able to match desperation so far this offseason?
It's staying hungry. We still have a ton to prove. This is an outstanding team, championship caliber team, of course. They're not going to be panicked. They're going to make their adjustments. They're going to come out. They know what this game means for them. We got to punch first, take their punch, and punch again. That's been our recipe right now. We didn't come here to win just one game. We came here to win a series, and we need 4 wins, and we've got to get them as quick as we possibly can.
Do you think it's more difficult to maintain hunger after you win a championship?
I mean, human nature would say yes, but I can't speak to, the specifics surrounding Denver. But it's, I think when you play in the playoffs for as long as this team has played in the playoffs, you can start adding up all those extra games, all those extra miles, how tired guys are through the course of a regular season, injuries, etc. It's really, really hard to be a repeat champion. I mean, you're playing another, 6-8 months, depending on how long you've been competing for a championship, than most opponents, and that adds up. So there's a lot of factors to go into it, but this team will be motivated. They got a lot of pride, and they got a great coaching staff, and they'll do a great job being ready to go tomorrow.
So Mike, I'm mentioning you were kind of challenging the bench at halftime.
Yeah.
And needed a little more on the bench production.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we feel like we've got a really deep team. We feel like we got a ton of options. Thought our starters got us off to a great start. Generally, like, we don't signal out first team, second team stuff, but we feel like our bench unit is extremely important in this game. Starters set the tone. A lot of game plan mistakes, maybe some nerves, that kind of stuff happened at the end of that first quarter. That kind of let them back in, and then made us rethink some stuff. So, but all credit to the bench. They took the challenge. They came out in the second half, and they were awesome.
How much along those lines, and just in general, how much more emotionally complete is this group at this point, this season, maybe a year ago?
I mean, I think it's leaps and bounds. It's a big theme of ours coming into the season was emotional maturity, maturity in general, and it shows itself in lots of different ways. But handling these small pieces of adversity that happen, getting off to a poor start. Really, really proud of Nas. Great growth from him all season long is to be able to survive when he, stretches when he hasn't played well and it hasn't kind of, ruined the entire journey for him. And we saw what that meant to us last night, and we know how important he is to us overall. So,
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.